What's up, guys? So today you're going to see the dyno video of ShopTruck. We took it to FuelTech. They did their thing, made the power, turned out awesome, etc., etc. You'll see all that here in just a minute. But we get a lot of questions about what exactly is the setup on these vehicles that we build or that we drive or what have you. So what I'm going to start doing is a video dedicated to each one of our rides that we have, whether it's ShopTruck or we did one with Man Van a long time ago. You can go search for it. You know, Sean's Donk, the Murder Nova, the OG Murder Nova, whatever else we have, we're going to do a video dedicated to exactly what the setup is on that car. So I figure what best to start with than ShopTruck, since it's something that's fresh on my mind. I know everything about it, and that's the video I'm making right now. So I figure the best way to start this, I'll start from the front, start from the back and work my way towards the front. So hang on just a second, I'll get this thing up in the air and start telling you about it. All right, so ShopTruck started out life as just any old regular 2001 GMC Sierra with a 4.8 liter. Of course, this truck had the factory 10 bolt in it. They're kind of weak for what I had planned on doing with this thing. So one of the first things I did when I got this truck was I put a quick performance 9-inch rear end in it. They make these complete ready to bolt in for these trucks. I've sold tons of them to people with trucks just like this. You'll never have to worry about breaking them again. They'll hold just about anything that anyone would possibly throw at these trucks. So this truck has a quick performance 9-inch rear end. It's got a strange ultra case aluminum center section with a 370 gear ratio in it. I have relocated the shocks to the back of the axle. You know, from the factory, they got one in front, one in the back. I have moved both of mine to the rear of the axle, and pretty simple to do. All we did was add a bar right here in between the frame rail, connected the shocks, boom. Now they're both on the back side. I did use TRZ hardware for this, the shock mounting brackets to weld onto the rear end. ShopTruck does have an excess battery relocated to the rear of the truck here. Monkey did this work for me. The battery tray is nothing special. It's just a a steel battery tray from Speedway. Welded it on there, boom, battery in the back. It has mono leaf springs from Calvert Racing, as well as the Calvert Racing Caltrax. I have actually done something a little different in the back here to get the truck to set the way I want, work the way I want. You can't really see it there. Let's see if I can lighten this up. No. Okay, so I actually have a 1-inch lift shackle in the rear to get the ride height where I wanted. It still has the factory hangers up here in front. Let's see here. The gas tank. This is a stock gas tank out of a 2005 Chevy Silverado. The reason I used a newer tank was I sent this tank to Aeromotive. They installed and designed a drop-in 5-gallon per minute brushless pump for this tank. That pump is enough for probably 15, 16, 1700 horsepower on E85, which is exactly what I run. So connect the quick performance 9-inch to the 4L80 transmission with a dynamic driveline carbon drive shaft. Yes, I can sell you one just like this. You will have to measure it first and let me know the length. Everything is different depending on ride height, etc., etc. of the truck. This is not a kit for them. You have to measure, but we can get you one. So when Sean actually got this truck, it didn't have a transmission in it. The 4L60 had been blown up like so many of them are. So we swapped a 4L80 in it. My buddy DTR Fab, Tyler Scruggs, makes the 4L80 swap crossmember for these trucks. This is the very first one he ever made. Still in the truck. It's got to be in there for 10 years now. Not one single problem from it. Works awesome. He's sold a bunch of these. They work great. Holler at him if you need one, if you want to 480 swap your truck. The 480. This thing is a bad boy. This is no stock 480. This is a 480 Terminator 4 built by Rossler. Rossler is the same person that makes the transmissions for the Murder Novas. I could have went several different routes with this thing. This was really the only one that made sense. I had a Rossler in my little Pro Charge setup. Never had any issues with it. So it only made sense to go back with one whenever I swapped a turbo. This thing performs flawlessly. They are not cheap. They are worth every penny. Move up here to the converter. I tried something a little new this year. This is a Nil Chance Racing torque converter. It's a custom build. I talked to Marty at Armageddon in 2020. Told him what I wanted to do with the truck. Told him how much power it was going to make. And he said, I got just what you need. So gave him a call when it was time. Got me this sent. And sure enough, he had just what I needed. This thing is awesome. I think that's pretty much it under the truck. Of course, you've seen the Bogarts that I have on the truck. Custom made just for me. They're 15 by 10 inch wide wheel. They have a single beadlock on them, and they're custom powder coated gold, and I absolutely love every single thing about these wheels. They're just awesome. They look amazing on the truck. If you follow me on Instagram or follow any of our other pages on Instagram, I've posted a ton of pictures of these things. Sick is really the only word that can be used to describe these wheels. So get the truck down here and we'll talk about the power plant up front. All right, so we got it back on the ground here. Let's go over the interior first. This thing is about as stock appearing as any other 2001 GMC that you'll find on the road. Aside from the aftermarket steering wheel that I got from Motion Raceworks, I mean, it's all stock. The seats and console are out of a 2003 Chevy Silverado SS, just like my blue one that I drive around. Found them on Marketplace. After driving my SS around, I decided I wanted seats with armrest. So I got seats with armrests, and they just happened to come out of an SS. I also wanted a full console, so I put a full console in it. I love the way that this thing feels driving down the road. Really just like any other stock truck, except it has a whole lot of horsepower. Everything still works. Power windows, locks. I even have remote start on this thing, actually. So the heart of my fuel injection is right here, the FT550. FuelTech makes their display screen and the ECU all one unit. So everything, you monitor everything right there from that little thing. There's not several boxes to install and run wires to. This is it. Turn key on and it operates just like a stock truck. You can hear the fuel pump priming there. It'll shut off. There it is. Now this thing's ready to start up. I do have a kicker head unit in this thing. It had a JVC full TV screen before that you could play DVDs on and stuff. I don't really watch movies in this truck, so I replaced it with one of Kicker's KMC5s. Great little head unit. All I use is Bluetooth. It also picks up AM, FM radio stations, so it's got that. I use these little USB bulkheads here. See those there? Try to see if I can shine some light on. You know, turn the dome light on, because street truck, you know. So a guy named Derek Gingerich, I believe is his name. I'm sure I butchered his name again. He makes these little panels for various places on these trucks. Use the USB bulkhead. I've got one USB cable that runs over here to my FuelTech, and then all I got to do is plug a cable into here, and I can start tuning my FuelTech, get the data logs, etc., etc. This one is actually for my Nitrous Express Max 5 nitrous controller. I don't have it installed yet, but this is where I'll plug into it to tune it whenever it's time for that. Derek also made this little panel here. It houses 4 switches and my wideband controller for the FuelTech. So this switch here is my electric fan for the motor. This one right here is my water pump for the air to water intercooler system. So that's that. Like I said, the interior is about as stock looking as any other GMC that you'll find. I do have two Kicker 10-inch subs and a custom built box by Kicker in here. It's got 2 amps, one for the sub and one for the mids and highs. Street truck. I didn't want to lose any of this stuff, so the truck is still pretty heavy. I assume it's around 4,500 pounds with me in it, ready to go down the track. It's a little heavier than I'd like, but you know, to keep all the stuff I wanted to keep, that's just part of it. So I'll just have to make more horsepower if I want to go faster. The front 17-inch Bogarts. These are 17 by 5s. These are stock brakes on the truck that I've got some aftermarket drilled and slotted rotors from eBay, I believe. Don't have any problem stopping with this truck. No problems at all. So now the good stuff. What powers ShopTruck? Well, this is a 402 cubic inch LS motor built by X Power Racing Engines out in Choctaw, Oklahoma. Our good buddy McDougal built this thing for me, and I've got 600 miles on this whole setup so far. It has not given me one bit of issues, and as you'll see in the video following this, it makes a whole bunch of horsepower. So it's built with, it has a Summit Racing crankshaft, rods, and pistons. It has stock 317 LS cathedral port heads. It has stock AC Delco coils on it. It has, the entire fuel system is from Aeromotive. So this is actually an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. It's got an Aeromotive fuel filter. This is the fuel pressure sensor. Stock alternator. I wish I could fit a bigger alternator on it. I can't. I will need to cut this rail down just a little bit so I can fit a bigger alternator on here. It actually needs it, in my opinion. That's to come at a later date. So, water pump, stock water pump that I welded some -20 AN fittings on. The radiator in this thing is smaller because I wanted my turbo up front. I'll post part numbers to this. This is a Summit Racing branded radiator with a D-rail or Durali, however you'd like to say it, electric fan. It works great. I've cruised it around in Oklahoma heat, Florida heat, Georgia heat, and this thing just doesn't get over 190. And then whenever I'm cruising, it cruises at about 180. So works amazing. And the reason for the smaller radiator is because of that little guy right there. I wanted my turbo in the grill. I've had turbo setups before. I use pre-made kits by KB Racing, Trick Racing. Me and my buddy Tyler actually even built our kit one time that actually sets the turbo on a log manifold about right here. Those kits work great. Didn't have any issues with it. I just wanted to do something different. Like I've mentioned a couple times, or I'll even mention a couple times in the video following this, this is a dream build. So everything is exactly how I wanted it. And I wanted a turbo in the grill, so things had to be changed. So let's get to some more here under the hood. Stainless works up and forward headers. Stainless works on everything we have. That's just the way it is. They're great people. They always make sure we have whatever we need whenever we're building something. Made the call to them. They had these sitting on the shelf, got them to me. Boom. My hot side and cold side was built by Jeff Fletch Jr. You've seen in some of the early videos when he was building this. Turned out great. I couldn't be happier with the way everything is laid out, and it looks cool too, man. Like, damn. So what else can I tell you about? Of course, the Precision Pro Mod 94. This is one of the old turbos off of the Murder Nova. The first time we ever dynoed the Nova at FuelTech, it had this turbo on it. They were sitting around whenever we decided to go turbo on this truck. Sean said, why don't you just use one of these? So I said, okay, I think I will. So got that little guy sitting in there. Stainless downpipe turned into my 4-inch aluminum bullhorn that I did build the bullhorn myself. Take a little bit of credit there. Turned out pretty cool. It is discoloring my paint a little. I'm not super upset about it. It is what it is. I think it looks cool. It sounds cool. I'm gonna leave it. Let's see, what else could you possibly want to know here? I do use Precision twin 46mm wastegates. I have one over here, one on the driver's side. I use a Race Parts Solution blow-off valve, 50mm blow-off valve. as well as race parts solutions, dual seal clamps up here on the throttle body. I've got one here over by the intercooler, and then there's one underneath the truck as well for the other intercooler piping that goes to the turbo. Like I mentioned, it's a stock 105 amp alternator. It's got a 3-inch pulley on it because I do spin this thing quite a bit of RPMs. You spin the alternator a bunch of RPMs, ends up burning the brushes out, and then you're just kind of screwed. So ran into some problems with that on my last setup. Didn't want to do it again. Of course, the Holley high ram intake manifold, nothing ported on it. It's just a stock unit. As you'll see here in the video, I will be replacing it with something different. We kind of go over that in the video and why. Oh, a lot of people have asked about my brake setup. This is a manual brake kit. It's made by a guy named Frank Newfield. I don't know if he has a shop that he operates out of. You can search him on performancestrucks.net Facebook page. If you're looking to do a manual brake kit, lose a little bit of weight, and gain some aesthetics under the hood, that's who makes this thing. Again, I don't have any problem stopping this truck. It works great. Of course, the air to water intercooler is here behind the headlight. It worked good as far as keeping everything cool. It will not work when I go to race this thing. It sweats, drips water, and it will be right in front of the tires. So I'm not trying to go over water when I'm trying to race. So I'll have to move that. I have plans for that. We talk about it in a video that's coming up. That's really about it here. I hope that explains everything to you people. The motor is a pretty basic build. It's all off-the-shelf parts from Summit. The camshaft was a custom spec from Martin Smallwood of Smallwood Racing Development. Contact him if you're needing a camshaft for any type of setup. I actually got a new camshaft from him for Sean's 55 for the Pro Charge deal. I've ordered one for Ryan Martin for one of his Whipple Charge trucks, so he can spec you a camshaft for just about anything that you may need. Holler at him if you're looking to get a new cam for your setup. Again, stock 317 heads. They've got packed 1209X valve springs in them. Got a little valve job on them. Got various pieces from Motion Raceworks on it. I've actually got their 4-corner steam vent kit underneath the intake there. I do run a Moroso catch can. I've got a -12 fitting that goes from the passenger valve cover over to this thing, as well as a -12 fitting in the valley plate that goes over to this as well. Works great. I've run this setup several times. There's usually really nothing in there besides moisture condensation, so works great. Try it out if you're looking for some way to evacuate crankcase contaminants. I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and quit talking here, and we'll get to what you really want to see, and that's us dynoing this truck and how much power that this little X-Power Racing engine 402 is going to make with a ProMod 94 turbo. And I'll tell you, the turbo is nowhere near done making power where we stopped. So eventually I'll have X-Power build me a better motor, something that'll hold more power, and we'll see what this ProMod 94 will really do. So thanks for watching so far. Stick around. The good stuff is coming up now. About 7 hours into my trip here, headed out east. First to Georgia so we can put the motor in the Nova, then down to Florida so we can race. I've got ShopTruck behind me, and I've got 2 blowouts on my trailer. See the little gator flapping around there in the mirror. Luckily, I've located some people just up the road here that have 4 brand new wheels and tires that will go on my trailer. Unfortunately, I'm in the process of destroying the fender on the driver's side of my trailer. It's a busy interstate. It's I-40. I'm just going slow on the shoulder. There's pieces of tire everywhere that I'm having to dodge. It's no good. It's no good. So that's where I'm at. Sean's about to catch up to me. He'll probably blow the horn when he rolls on. No reason for him to stop. I think I got it taken care of. So I don't know. I'll turn the camera on when I get these tires bought and start putting them back on, or when I hit the road, something. But that's how my trip is going. Hopefully, or well, after this, I'll at least have 2 spares. I started this trip with none, so after this stop, I'll have 2. So that's where I'm at right now. Stick around. So I've made it here to the parking lot where the guy's going to change my wheels and tires for me.
This is usually your problem.
Man. Luckily it didn't ruin my fender. I let our good buddy Preston borrow my trailer. He already fucked this fender up.
He had already ruined that deal, huh?
So it's not like it's any worse.
Yeah.
So, well, got a guy coming. He's gonna change these out and I'll hit the road again.
It's hot earlier.
Was he?
Shoo, dude, Phil.
Man, it's just hot out.
Just popped.
God.
Man.
That one real hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Bitch is hot, isn't it?
All right, so today's a big day for me. I've been waiting for this day for a couple months now, or however long ShopTruck's been running. We are here at FuelTech in Ball Ground, Georgia, and we're about to put this thing on their mainline hub dyno. Pretty early in the morning, Luis has been working on the startup tune. It's got that pretty good. I had it decent, it would start and run, but I had to, you know, get on the gas pedal for a little bit till it got up to temp. He's fixed all that already after about 10 minutes. Now though, we're fixing to take this thing for a drive, and he's going to work on some drivability before we put it on the dyno. So stick around, we'll turn this camera on when we hit the road. Okay, here we go. Fun fact.
Safety first.
I have never ridden in this truck.
What?
Never. Not even when it was Sean's. I never rode in it.
This is your first time.
This is my first time to ride in it. I'm just gonna warn you right now, I'm a terrible passenger.
Okay,
so.
no problem. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let's see how this thing behaves.
Oh, yeah, that's way better. That's way better.
Crank lighter.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I love it.
I like the cam selection in here.
Yeah. I had Martin Smallwood. He spec'd everything for me. I told him what I wanted to do with it. Told him what the motor was, and said, here you go.
Okay. Like a street car.
Yeah, not saying
The throttle, brakes, get around. Yeah. Power steering on this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for now. Eventually I'll lighten it up. There's a little shop that makes a rack for it, so I'll eventually do manual steering. It's got manual brakes. Just the one.
Manual brakes?
Yeah. It does drive really good, man. Like I couldn't be happier with how easy the FuelTech was to use. Dead spot, it would surge from lean to ridge, trying to just go into it like that.
Wow. It's cruisy side. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still got a 480, so it's got overdrive, walk-up converter, 370 gear, so the RPMs aren't too high, cruising. power.
Yeah, like instant power. Like below 1,000 RPM, I have about 12 pounds.
That's crazy.
And like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's like a light switch.
You just like do it, 12 pounds.
Yeah.
But the problem is, he goes upstairs, I have 14. He don't gain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fans stay the same, bigger Whipple, or put a turbo.
Yeah. I think with the cubic inch of this thing, I think this, even though it's a fairly good sized turbo, I think it'll light off pretty quick. You know, if I'm just driving around town without the boost controller on or whatever. So I think I'm good there as far as power. So we're back from my first ride ever in my own truck.
You're welcome.
And man, hey, there's a reason that we brought this thing all the way out to Georgia to get it tuned, because Luis is just awesome. Like from startup to cruise to idle, like it's exactly how it should be
It's
now.
like a stock vehicle now.
It's like a stock vehicle with a
10
bullhorn.
times more power.
Yeah,
than the truck.
yeah. So I couldn't be happier so far. It looks like they're getting the car off the dyno now that was in front of me. And I guess it's time to bolt it on now, right? And let's see what kind of power it'll make.
Swapping a nitrous for a turbo.
Yeah, yeah. But they'll make about the same power probably. I bet that thing sounds like an animal.
Yeah, like I think you can make more if you want to.
Hey, I mean, if everything's looking good.
That thing right there.
Well, okay, so you've actually tuned with that turbo before. That's one of the turbos off of the Nova. So the first time we ever brought the Nova here, that turbo was on it. Whenever it made 32 or 3400 or whatever it was, that's one of those 94s that was on it.
I see it.
So
That thing's beautiful.
man, hey, I like that car a lot. So we've had a little trouble getting the truck bolted to the dyno today, thanks to a local wheel shop and the machine shop over at Proline. It's now bolted onto the mainline dyno, and they're about to start ripping on this deal. So a little different. If you guys haven't seen this, you know, most of you have probably seen the wheel dynos. Put them on the roller, strap them down. These actually bolt to the hub, and you'll see the stuff they had to make there. They don't have a 6-lug hub adapter for my truck, so it still has a stock 6-lug pattern. They didn't have one, so they had to make it work. Still got a little bit of adjusting to do on the tune-up, and then turn this camera back on once it's time to start making some pulls. So that was about 6,500 RPM.
Yeah, right around
About 6,500, 6 pounds ish.
on the wastegate.
And we're about 585. So this thing should make some power once we give it some boost. Everything sounded good. Still in one piece. That's always a plus. So now put some CO2 on it. Keep that wastegate shut a little longer and see what it'll do. mean, how much boost? Oh, you don't have your laptop in here. I mean, okay, so, all right, so day 2 starting off a little bit better than day 1. By figuring out a way to get the truck actually bolted to the dyno, sucked up the majority of the day. Everybody's got a life, you know what I mean? So they had to leave yesterday, no big deal. So we stuck around, and we're here for day 2 to get this thing tuned. So if nothing else good happened yesterday besides the one good pull where it made almost 600, I did figure out some stuff that's not going to work with my setup. So the ice box back here in the back, not a big deal. That it sweats. When it sweats, it drips water. It's behind the tire though. Not a huge deal. I'll probably still move it. What is a problem, and what I am going to have to change before I race this thing, is where we put my intercooler. It also sweats. Unfortunately, it sweats in front of both my front and rear tires. So may not be a big deal, or it may. I'm going to choose not to run through water as I'm trying to go 150 plus mile an hour in a quarter mile. So what I am going to do is get a Holley low ram base, and then we've got a sheer fabrication intercooler lid that I'll put on here. So have to redo the cold piping. Not a huge deal, but it's going to have to happen before I can really race this thing. So on that one, it just made 700. I'm going to guess probably around 10 pounds of boost. I'm also going to guess around 6,000 RPM. So here we start day 2. We'll keep rolling as the hits keep coming.
Look how confident he is. He's full. He's suiting and booting right now because he knows it's gonna start.
He knows it's fine.
Like he knows that crank trigger is gonna start.
Yep.
Man, it would be nice to pull that crank out and put a 58 tooth in it.
Yeah. Fine. Never a doubt. That idler just. Hey. So my motor has a 24X reluctor wheel on the crankshaft. Occasionally there's a bit of trouble with the 24X and the FuelTech. It'll lose RPM signal as soon as you get into boost. So what I did was called our buddies over at Holley. I ordered one of their 36-1 crank trigger wheels and bolted it on the front of my ATI balancer. Well, didn't line up great, but it worked, and seemed to work okay up to about 700 horsepower. Now we're losing crank signal, and we're thinking that it's because you know, vibrations, etc., are moving the signal, you know, moving the sensor off center. You can see where kind of in the center there is about all it was really catching of the wheel. So any vibrations is going to move that thing this way or that way and lose signal. So brought the bracket over here to Proline. They're going to do a little bit of machine work so that I can get this sensor in the middle of the trigger wheel and hopefully fix my RPM signal loss. It looks like the thing is going to make power if it'll stay running. So Okay, so there's 1,030 at 14 pounds of boost. Still having trouble with my crank trigger. Not real sure what's going on there. Open the gap up a little bit. We're gonna make another pull. That'll probably be the last one for the day. Don't really want to chance our luck. If it cuts off again, then next time we get a break from racing No Prep Kings, we'll get it pulled apart, check everything out, and see what might be going on there. It may just be moving around in this block. That may just be all there is to it. You know, we knew there was a chance of something like that happening. McDougal warned me about it. He wasn't real cool with building me this motor with this block. I said, duly noted, let's do it. So this is all on me. It is what it is at this point. If opening up the gap on the crank trigger or the crank sensor doesn't work and it still loses signal and shuts off, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. It's time to get home. So they're making some changes in the tune-up. We'll put a little more boost on it, see if it'll stay running, and I don't know, I think my 1200 horsepower goal is going to be pretty easy to make, so we'll see what happens here on the next one. Okay, so the current situation is we're trying a new crank trigger setup now. We went over to Proline, got an RCD missing magnet wheel. Sean got it put on for me, and now he's marking some timing numbers on my balancer so they can check timing here.
You want me to have him bump it?
I see it. Okay. I'm marking 20 on it and on the crank trigger.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so fixing to make what is hopefully the last pull of the day of the session. Hoping that it stays running, that we don't lose crank signal, RPM signal. If it does from here, not real sure what else to do besides pull it apart and see what the problem is. So cross your fingers, crossing mine. If this thing stays running, it's going to make some power. So here we go.
Come on, just make a full pull. You
Just
know?
one.
Just one
Just
full
one.
pull.
What was it? Where at?
It blew all out right here. You didn't see it?
Oh no.
I could see it blowing all out.
So it made the full pull right at 1,000 still, but my throttle body apparently needs a better seal.
It does.
Sean said he's seen a bunch of boost coming out.
Man, you could see it. It was like, you know, you can't see
I closed
air.
my eyes, honestly.
You know, you couldn't see air.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just blowing out here. Almost like,
The intercooler's sweating.
yeah. It's almost, yeah, like it had water in it.
No, it does.
Like,
When you pull
how,
that out.
You know how, like, if you took a nozzle out of a nitrous kit, that's what it looked like coming out of right here. Just
No, my
not
eyes
as,
were
just not as
closed. I was
dense. Just not as dense.
Yeah.
Hey, it held it.
Yeah. So this was a full-blown real-life simulation here. He pedaled the shit out of it about halfway through.
He probably had seen how you drive, and so he's just pedaling the hell out of it on the
making
dyno.
sure it's going to be all right.
And everything held up, man. Look, there's nothing under the truck.
Nope.
It's gonna be a handful, man. You're gonna have to put an NRO bar on this deal.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I talked about earlier. I figured out a few things.
It's moving a lot. You know?
I figured out a few things now that it has been on the dyno. Like the intercooler's not going to work where it's at. The icebox probably won't work where it's at. You're going to have an NRO bar, and I'm probably going to have to learn how to drive a little better.
But that's why we're here, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you learn so much on a dyno, and
because it's a controlled environment.
It is about a dyno number, but it's really not about a dyno number.
But it kind of is about a dyno number.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hey, the dyno number is just something that helps you bow your chest out a little bit. But everything else that you learned on this, like that intercooler sweating, that could have been bad.
If I'd have got out on the track, let go of the button.
You got to the track. Yep. you turn this deal sideways.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Real quick.
So, you know, just little things like that right there is the reason that we come here to FuelTech or any dyno.
Yeah.
And have them, you know, help us.
It's been awesome. They've stuck through some pretty dumb problems that I've had here and figured it out.
Yes.
It made that's the first full pull we've really made with this thing, and pulled good. Other than
it was a plenty long pull too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
He gave it every opportunity if something was going to happen for it to happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
No.
You know, everything held up.
Yeah. Nice job, McDougal at X-Power. Nice job, Rossler. Nice job, Marty at Chance Converters. Quick Performance, everybody,
yeah.
everybody. The carbon drive shaft from Dynamic Driveline. I mean, everything is good with this deal.
Everybody's going to be like, well, why didn't you put it on your dyno? Well, there's lots of reasons we didn't put it on our dyno.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is a hub dyno first off, you know, and they simulate, you know, you just stick it in low off the trans brake, which we can do that on our dyno too, but small tire stuff, you know, is kind of iffy.
Especially something that makes that kind of power.
Yeah, and something that's going to move around like that.
Yeah.
Plus, we're still new to the FuelTech stuff. You wired this whole deal all by yourself, just like you did the 55.
Right.
So whenever we run across problems, man, where better to be than right here?
So one problem we ran into that I didn't get on video was there was actually some trash in my boost controller, and one of the pulls we made, it hung the increase solenoid open, and this thing made 40 pounds of boost.
Yeah, but it made it like that.
Like in a split, yes. Yeah, like didn't even see it on dyno, but the FuelTech caught it in the software. So, you know, little stuff like that. We're right here on their dyno. They pulled the boost controller off, took it in the shop, refurbed it, and now it's good to go again.
And said, okay, this is what was in it. And all it was a Teflon, a little piece of a Teflon
O-ring.
Yeah, O-ring.
Yeah, so, I mean,
just little stupid things like that right there, man, can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, all in all, like, it's a success. That we're gonna drive it on the trailer.
Well, you're probably not done though, right?
Oh, I mean, we can make another one. I can try to tighten that up. And
I would imagine that they are going to clean the fuel up a little bit and make another one. I would probably try to tighten that up or loosen it a little bit and see if we can get anything in between there, like gasket maker, and then squeeze the shit out of it.
Yep, see what we can do here. Nice job, man. Damn. 1182. It did it.
Hey, it didn't leak either.
No.
It didn't. Hey, that's all I was looking at first, and then I was.
Yeah. Are we cool, man? Are we cool?
Is everything cool, man?
Man. Nice job, dude. That's badass.
Yep.
I mean, that's 1200, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's 1200.
I mean, the thumbnail on YouTube, 1200 horsepower street truck.
Yep. Hey, and that's also more than the man van made. You just passed the man van.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What I make, 1140?
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, that's what I said I wanted right there. 1200. Like. Sounded nice and clean.
You can still nitpick it, but why? That's still only 25 pounds of boost.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, stock block, I mean, how far do you really want to go?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
25? It hit 23. It spiked early.
24, yeah, 25 for a little bit.
25 for a little bit?
And up at the top on the rest was 23.
On the gear changes, when it drops in RPM, it doesn't have quite enough RPM to keep the exhaust going, so it has a little belly to it. But that's more than plenty for having fun on the street.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's gonna be a lot of fun right there. So there it is. That's what I said I was shooting for, and boom, nailed it. 23 to 25 pounds of boost. 12, you know, 1182. We're gonna call it 1200.
That's 1200 all day long.
Yep. A little 94 just barely putting in work.
Yeah, I did. It was like, okay, here we go. Oh, we're done?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it, man. Like, we get to drive this thing on the trailer. We really weren't even expecting to do that.
Nah, we thought we was gonna have to push it on.
Yeah, so they'll get this thing unbolted, slap the Bogarts back on it, put this thing on the trailer, and finally head back to Oklahoma for a couple days.
I'm so ready to be back in Oklahoma.
Yes, yes, I
And it's
am.
always worse whenever you think you're gonna go home, and then you have to stay another day.
Yep.
But hey, it was worth it.
That's totally worth it, man. Like, fixed all the problems. Like, I would have got, like, even if we'd have settled at the 1,000 it made early, like, it still would have had the issue with the crank trigger. So stayed here, fixed it, and I'm glad we did. So